Sunday afternoon here at the workbench at Scale Models Midwest. David here in Altoona, Iowa. Welcome back to the channel, and as always, thanks for watching these videos. Thanks for subscribing and liking them. Pass the word on to friends so they can come and like and subscribe as well. Hit that notification bell. Okay, now that all that's out of the way, here's the instruction sheet for this 2022 NASCAR Next Gen Camaro from Salvinos JR. I'm going to join the fray. I'm going to build mine. And I thought at first I'd say box stock, meaning with all the colors that they're already molded in, from the black, the white, the gray, I thought I'd do it. But then I started looking at the instruction sheet and I thought, I just can't leave well enough alone. And I don't think many of you would either. I mean, I could easily grok a kit together and do it without painting and I'd be just as happy. But you know, this kit is something special. It's the Rollout Camaro for the next gen, and I thought, why not? I'm going to go on ahead and take a look at the sheet. So, first of all, hats off to the guys at Salvinos JR, Chris, Rick, and Jim. They are very detailed in their instructions. They're saying here for the Builders Club that you want to use the decals off of the supplied update insert sheet in plate of the kit decals. With the same corresponding numbers, so I'm going to have to take a look at that when it comes time. But looking at the instructions here, you know, it tells you about how to do decals and nice little tips about using microsol. And I've even seen microsol a couple of drops of dishwashing soap in the hot water or warm water that you use to get the decals to loosen up. Helps also for the positioning. That's something I've used for years. But then, noticing here towards the very end, they do not recommend clear paint over the decals. Now, I have seen where people have done, and I've done this myself, light mist coats on top of the decals to kind of seal them. And then, once that's done, giving it time to flash, and then putting a couple of heavier coats on it. I've done that. I've had no problems. Other people have tried similar ways of doing the decals and sealing them with clear and they've had problems. So whatever works for you, go on ahead and go for it. This one, I don't think I will clear it. I think I'll just do what the instructions indicate and build it right out of the box with a little bit of paint detail and see how it looks. I know that HPI Guys, Chris, uses Future Floor Shine, and I've been tempted to try that someday, but for this kit, no. He has built one on his channel of the Chase Elliott number 9 Camaro, and it turned out really good, especially with the way he laid on the Future Floor Shine. But now I'm just gonna do it a little differently, build it the way I would like to build it, and just once it's done, admire it from there. So let's go on ahead and look at these sheets. So for starters, one of the first things that I noticed when we got our kits was we had this little Rollout Kit Correction. Hopefully this isn't the actual kits that you see. This is now in the stores, like at modelroundup.com. Hopefully this little Rollout Kit Correction's in there, but if not, I'll leave it here for the moment. When they're talking about step 1, parts C12 and C13 should be G12 and G13. They're relating to the belt assembly here, and quite frankly, you know, it's a no-brainer because it's on the gray tree. If I can see it myself with my own eyes. Yeah, right here. There's that. And then right up here at the top. And again, G, just denoting gray. Likewise, when you get to step 12, again, parts C108 and 109 should be G108 and 109. It's on step 12. And that's referring to brake assemblies, which, again, gray tree, and there you go. Very straightforward. And then finally, they talk about step 18, C85 should read G85. So if I look at step 18, it says C85 should read G85. And then this is where I looked at it and said, okay, gray, and it says that should be it. But then look here, and the color call out is coded A. which should be aluminum. Well, that's not bad. And I'm thinking anything that's listed color code A for aluminum, I'll do that and do a little bit of black wash to it. A lot of this could lend well with some black wash, so I'm going to go ahead and go that route. Then I look at something like in step 15, looking at that racing seat and thinking it'd be kind of cool to do the semi-gloss black as it indicates and then aluminum on the outside. So for paints, I'm still debating exactly how much of the kit I'll do it, but it says aluminum. I do have some aluminum spray. I can decant that into a little cup and hand paint it. A lot of this is going to be little hand painted details. I have some silver just in case. I also have semi-gloss, or this case flat black. I know I can stop over at the hobby store and get a little bottle of Tamiya semi-gloss black. I'll probably do that. Then gunmetal, I have that. I got like 3 or 4 bottles of the trusty Model Master gunmetal. Buffing metalizer, love this. And then brass. The closest thing I have to brass is either exhaust or gold, and I think exhaust will probably be the better one. But I think I will stop during my lunch break tomorrow and see if there's anything that matches brass as far as color. Looking here, M, the oil pan, that's going to be painted M color, as is with the upper engine part here. So I don't know, just for a little bit of contrast within the bare block assembly, I'll probably do that. And then of course got red. I've got some steel spray that I can decant into a little cup. Titanium, I don't know, I've got some stuff that might work. And then of course white. And the white, looking at that in particular, on some of the suspension parts, and this is what Luka Cee pointed out in his channel, a lot of these little parts here that attach, like the upper A-arms and lower A-arms, when they attach to the frame, these very end pieces should be in white. Likewise, these two parts that come in under step 18 should also be white. So I was thinking what I'll do is I'll prime those, the larger parts, and then spray them with some Tamiya white. I've got that. And that way it'll match the white of the roll cage and all those related pieces. So again, I'm just going to go that route and just take my time on this and have a little bit of fun. I do have the other kit that I'm working on, the Ron Keselowski Charger, going old school with that one, and that one will be a full detail kit. Be taking some time on that one as well. So this will be a multi-part video, and just stay with me as we do it. Also, one of the parts regarding the body is they said to sand off the antenna and camera mounts up here, because that's not part of the rollout kit. So it also helped with the decal placement. So I'm going to go on ahead and sand those off as well. So let's go on ahead and get started. Looks like it sands off nice and easy. I want to make sure it's nice and flush. Of course, we'll sand this with progressively finer shades of micromesh polishing cloths from like 1500. This is like a 400 grit right now. We'll take it to like 1500, 3200, all the way up to 12,000 if I decide not to paint the body, which I'm still planning on not doing any kind of paint on the body, just decals. So, okay. So as you can see there, looks nice and clean. So as you can see there, the cameras and antennas have been sanded off. I do have a scribing tool that I'm going to use to rescribe the lines for the escape hatch and for the wing flaps, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I use this Tamiya panel line scriber. Very light passes over all of the items. Obviously I should get a little closer. I cleaned out the lines just a little bit, just a couple light passes on each line and into the corners. Take your time when you're doing that. You can use those, you can use dental picks to kind of clean up those lines a bit. And as you can see, I've also gone one pass on my micro mesh polishing cloth, 1800 grit. I'm going to do the same thing with the remaining grits until this is nice and polished. So after about 5 minutes of sanding and polishing, as you can see, starting with 1800, 2400, 32, 4000, 6, 8, and 12, I get up to what it looks like the original kit. There's still some scratches on here. I'm going to sand those out a little bit further. Had a couple where the scribing tool just kind of went out of the lines. Again, take your time on this, but that's easy to fix and correct. If you have to putty, fine, but otherwise it looks a lot cleaner with the antennas and the cameras off. And then obviously if you put the decals on top of this, you might not even see the scratches, but still they're there. One thing I'll point out right here, this should be extended further out according to what some people are already stating, much like on this side. You can use very thin strip styrene and some plastic bondine or Tamiya extra thin cement to put a part there and then sand it flush to make it match that. I'm not going to do that with my kit, but just to let you know, that is there, that has been pointed out, and still it doesn't detract from the kit. But for those who are really going after that 100% accurate or realism, something to look at. And there are plenty of research pictures on here, plenty of photos for reference, and of course if you watch the races on the weekend you can see a lot of this, but just kind of pointing that out to you. We're going to go ahead and start working on the engine. Okay, so what I've got here is the engine partially assembled. I got a couple items that I painted while they were still on the sprue, notably the valve covers. Painted those semi-gloss black. I went away from doing the brass for the oil pan, and I did exhaust. Kind of like it. I'm going to wait until it dries a bit, and then I'll decide if I want to add something more to it, but I think I'll just leave it like that. Otherwise, the engine itself, I've got it mostly put together, and a little bit of paint detail really makes this shine, so I'm glad I went that route. I'm going to go on ahead and look over steps 3 through 7, so I'll build those when I get home from work Monday. Steps 3 through 7, I see a couple items that could use some paint, especially the items that Luka Cee mentioned in his channel regarding the end pieces of the control arms. I will paint those white. And then of course, looking further into step 7, the front suspension's got some parts there that I'd like to kind of paint up detail. So with that, I'm going to go on ahead and call it a day. Got some other things to work on around the house. Hope you have yourself a great rest of the weekend. We'll catch you in the next video.